Okay, everybody, this is my spoiler review of The Last of Us Episode 3. Now, this might be the toughest episode of a show I've ever had to review because I have so many mixed feelings about this episode of The Last of Us. So, disclaimer, I've played both of the games, loved them, and I am a huge Craig Mazin fan. Obviously, I love Chernobyl that he did, and I love his podcast, Script Notes. I think he is one of the most brilliant writers in the game today. Having said that, I was expecting to love this episode. I heard so many good things, and I watched it live tonight like everybody else, and I love Nick Offerman, and then Murray Bartlett, who we know from White Lotus, who was my favorite character in White Lotus, is in this episode. So I'm like, come on, this is great. This is going to be amazing. And I'm watching it, and I just couldn't believe that there was a couple things about this that just didn't work for me. I don't know if it felt almost like, I don't want to say this, but like Emmy bait too much, right? And it's so early in the season to do an episode like this, in my opinion. I feel like it really just kills momentum, and already people have said the pacing's like one of the one things about this show so far. It's been a little off, and I really feel this is a bizarre decision with that already kind of feeling off to just stop everything and do this because it is not super consequential for the main storyline. That's where it kind of feels almost like it's making Walking Dead decisions already. And I know it's high quality writing, and I think it's an amazing acting by Nick Offerman and Murray Bartlett. That was expected. But I am just shocked how long, in a long episode that's about an hour and 20 minutes, that they spent on the backstory of Bill. And that we didn't even see a Bill in current time, where in the games there is a Bill in current time with Joel, where they're interacting. I thought it was going to set up for that, and that they would wrap the backstory with Bill and Frank a little earlier to get to that kind of current main plot payoff with Bill in it. Now, it was like a spiritual connection, so people are going to sell it like, oh, but he still had an effect giving these things to Joel and Ellie, but I feel like that effect did not land in the way it should have to benefit my care for Joel and Ellie in the main plot of the story. So what I felt like watching this episode was, I felt like I watched a different show that was really good, that just didn't serve enough purpose to me in the main story for The Last of Us to actually care in the show I'm watching. Now, if you had played this as like a movie just on its own, or just a different TV show as just like a side short story, I think it's great. And I just think it's bizarre for, again, a third episode of a first season of a show for a character that we learn all this backstory about, that now he's not even, he dies. So thanks. Like, that doesn't justify enough to me to give him that much meat on the bone of a character that's a one-off. So I'm shocked by it. And I think it was not the best decision. I think that Craig Mazin is a great writer, but as a showrunner with Neil Druckmann, I felt like this was a bad choice. I don't think it is something that rings true to me in the sense of just its intentions. I think it is a total Emmy bait episode. And you could say, well, isn't that saying it's good? Yes, it's high quality television, but I feel like it's wrapped in the wrong thing and completely stops the whole momentum of this season. And it felt really weird. Like, I don't know. I just thought that what I was watching originally, I felt like in the first 40 minutes, I was like, okay, I can't wait to see how this ends and how this is going to tie in with Joel and Ellie. I mean, it ties in nice, but it's not something where I sit there and if you think back on it, you're like, you didn't have to actually do this. And it just felt, I don't know, a little just, I didn't like it. I didn't like it as much as I thought I would. I mean, I think it's hard to rate, and that's why I'm saying it's hard to rate, because I think I would give it a 7.8, and a lot of those points are going to the quality of the acting and the writing, the score being great. But as entertainment value, no. And I think it just was something that was put in the wrong show. Like, why is this a side character getting all of this time again early in the season? I think that really is so important to me actually really enjoying this episode. Maybe if this came out later in the season or in a different season, or if we knew and they confirmed at the end that Bill was going to be a character that lives on and that we got more time with him, at least with Joel in person, not just through writing, then I would probably like it more just looking back. But looking back, I feel like I was a little played in a sense. So great. Like it was quality television, awesome. Critics love it, but as someone sitting down to watch The Last of Us and wanting it all to connect to Joel and Ellie, because those are still our two main characters, I'm all for making every character have meat on the bone. But when it's a character, again, that literally dies in that episode, and we spent like an hour with them, I'm like, well, what was the point of all that? That's where I'm frustrated. So it's going to be a divisive episode. And what I'm saying is going to be divisive, but that's just how I feel as I watched it. So I'm giving it 7.8 for just quality writing, acting, score. And yes, just knocked out of the park for Nick Offerman and Murray and Bartlett. And I just, again, I'm not worried about the show, but I am worried at the scope of how they're plotting this out because we know the first game ends at the end of season one. So how did we already have time to spend a whole side quest episode already? I that's confusing me. So I feel like they're really padding things here already and very early, which worries me. But again, who's behind this with Craig Mazin and Neil Druckmann? I'm not worried. I think it's going to be still a great show. But I was not crazy about this episode. That's what I'm saying. Yes, that still makes me. I love the last two episodes, so I'm not worried. But this was a miss for me, and it's a good quality television episode, but a miss in the sense of The Last of Us on HBO. This just didn't feel totally necessary, and I think it just feels a little too much like self-aware, like, yeah, this is gonna get Emmys, so not a fan. But let me know what you thought, because I think everyone's gonna have so many different strong opinions on this one. Maybe people didn't play the games like it even more. Maybe that's clouding my judgment, but who knows? But that's how I felt. Let me know below what you thought, and please, if you can share anything. This show is so competitive to review, so any help from you guys, I really, really appreciate it. And I'm also doing Poker Face right now, so make sure to check out those reviews and Your Honor as well, and celebrity interviews. Please follow me at Steve Varley Show on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok for more of me, and I'll see you next time.